Hello, my name is Shenghua Zha from Libraries and Educational Technologies. In this short presentation, I'm introducing some components that a lesson or module typically includes in an online course. I hope at the end of this presentation, we're able to identify components in an online lesson or module. We will use some tips provided here to select appropriate technologies. And we will start to put pieces together for online lessons. The first component is called pre-instructional activities, where we address students' questions such as, why am I in this course? What am I learning next? Am I ready? In the example on the right, you see that the first item of this module is an introduction page. When students click into that page, they will be informed of what they're going to learn, as well as a timeline of this module. The second component is called content presentation. What we do in class is to ask students to read chapters before they come to our lectures. So what about online course, where we don't have class in a brick-and-mortar classroom? We can still assign students to read chapters and give a short quiz to test whether they have completed the reading assignment. We can use screen capturing or lecture capturing tools to record our lecture and share with students so that they can watch it anytime, anywhere. But be aware that while students watch those lectures, we don't see how they're engaged. And we definitely don't want to see this situation happen in our online course. So, what can we do to enhance students' engagement in our online lecture? Let's do a quick experiment first. I will give you about 10 seconds to see something. Okay, can you write down the numbers without using any strategies? It is hard, right? Why? Because our human beings' working memory can only process a certain number of chunks at one time. This is also called Miller's law. So, following this law, what about we chunking the numbers into this? Is this easier to remember? There's another rule that we need to keep in mind when designing an online lecture. It is about our attention span. In fact, as a lecture proceeds, a learner's attention span becomes shorter and often fall to 3 or 4 minutes towards the end of a standard lecture. After students are exposed to the learning content, we need to give them some practice to know how well they understand the content or apply some skills. This component is called practice and feedback. In this example on the right, an online asynchronous discussion is used for students' reflection. We can also use the audio-video recording feature in discussion board to have discussions continued in different ways. Studies showed that students like to have synchronous conversations with instructors, especially those who would like to talk. So, some online real-time meetings or office hours using web conferencing tools like WebEx can meet this group of students' learning preference. We can also seek their immediate feedback of learning here. Another example of getting feedback from students is the use of weekly journals. There are many blog tools that we can ask students to create their weekly entry there. Or we can use Google Doc connected from Canvas to ask students to enter their weekly journals in a Google Docs that will be shared only between us and that student. Now, the fourth component, assessments. There's one more layer for online assessments when compared to in-class test. That is the use of technology. Don't assume that all of our students are tech-savvy. Find tutorials from the Canvas support button. Give them instructions or tutorials to help them understand how an assessment tool works. A practice test would be good. You have a wide variety of tools that assess or evaluate students' knowledge and skills. However, don't let tools restrict your creativity. For example, discussion board is not just for discussion assignments. You can embed your module introduction and content presentation in the discussion board for the convenience of students asking questions during the time when they watch presentations. Ortho, think about ROI, return on investment. Don't use a tool that you or your students have spent tons of time on learning how to use it and only a tiny amount of time to learn the actual content. So that's about the critical components of an online lesson. Thank you very much.